In this episode, we'll learn how to grow our business the wise way. Helping us with this is a business and thought leader, an author, and a podcast host. Welcome to the show, Julie. How are you doing?
I'm doing very, very well. Thank you so much, Rita. I'm really looking forward to our conversation. I already know that there's quite a lot that we share. Very much looking forward to it.
Same here. I'm looking forward to speaking with you and having this soulful conversation about growth and business and all of that. I was telling you before we started recording that I left work and I was like just looking forward to this. This is going to be the highlight of my day, even though I had a productive day behind me, but it's going to be the highlight of my day to just, ring in the evening, basically, for me.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's
Absolutely.
awesome. So, while preparing for this conversation, or even before even booking, I read about you a little bit and I was like, yeah, you've experienced a lot of business problems. And one thing that stands out is that you've been able to learn how to survive them. You've been able to learn even how to look forward to them. So I don't know if we could start out with that. Like, can you share this experience with us?
It's a great starting point because, every great journey will often start with the hardest learning from failure or a challenge. I'm not sure it would be deemed as failure, but I come from a really big entrepreneurial family, and I went to open the business out in the Netherlands in my early 30s. And, there's very few people in life that can say they had an incredible career. And I stand by that. I had a lot of joy. They were challenges. And it was actually through one of those bigger challenges that I think my greatest learning came about. And, as you're an entrepreneur, and I support women entrepreneurs in my own business today, but when you're there as the founder and you're opening up your company, it's very easy to be caught on this incredible roller coaster of ups and downs and to lose yourself. And that's what happened to me, I think, after about 6-7 years of opening up the brand in the Netherlands. And I was sat in the garden at 3 a.m. in the morning with hands to the air thinking, what more can I do? That it was going well, but it was kind of chugging. It was, just feeling like it was very hard work. And, that frustration, I think, was the beginning of that journey. And I was surrounded by great people and I told them this story and they said, not immediately, of course, it's not what more you can do, it's what less you can do. And really that was this journey of understanding that, companies grow in this series of waves. And I had opened it in this incredible way, got caught up in the business. I was trying to get onto the next wave without letting go of the past. Climb too heavy, as if I'm at sort of camp 4, I would say, going up to the summit and everybody's passing light and looking like they're having fun. And I'm sort of with this sort of rucksack that's really burdening me, wondering why the teens not having as much fun. And I think that learning about how easy it is to lose yourself in very challenging situations of business growth, and I'm sure all areas of life, was the first time I asked myself, there's just got to be a better way. And I realized that it wasn't what more, it was what less, but how do I, take myself from being that problem? How, growth begins with me. And that was a big, hard message. I mean, I'm sounding like here I'm a bit of an archangel now. That took a while. It wasn't like, thank you for the feedback, off we go. That's a journey in itself. And very existing in terms of challenging is you first accept that you're not having a great time. And that's very hard when you're, growing your business and, it's like you're bringing up a child and you kid yourself it's fun. And sometimes it's not. And I think that's the very first point is, how am I feeling right now, truthfully? And I think that was the big first question I asked. And from that, I made myself redundant, not from the business, but from that current moment. And worked out what that new position was going to be to create that space for others to thrive. It's a massively important lesson. And, in your early 30s, you think you've got all the energy in the world and you're actually holding too much because not letting anybody else play.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to ask that question right now because it's something that affects a lot of us, a lot of people who are running a business or looking forward to running a business or even holding positions at their place of work. Like, how do you learn to let go of past wins, past glories, past hurts, past losses, past challenges? How do you learn to climb up with a lighter weight on your back?
Yeah. I mean, it's the biggest lesson, really. And it's about, I can't tell you how many number of people said to me, delegate, delegate, delegate. But actually, it's not about delegation because, people who have grown businesses, they're very aware of the word delegation. The question is, why are you not letting go? The change will begin with you. It's not about you delegating, making a list of here's the 50 things I'm going to give away. Because I would have done that. It's about asking yourself the question, why aren't you doing it? And you think it's because you're so in that business and that you've built that business around you that you begin thinking, well, no one can do it better than me. Nobody knows first. Was better than me. And of course, when you built the company around you, you're absolutely right. Why would that work? Because it's you. There's no differential between you and the business. So you're answering your question. Yes, nobody knows it as well as me. Because you've built the business as you. So that was the very first thing that I did. Number one piece of advice in terms of the redundancy aspect is you've lost yourself, you have to redefine yourself. And, I've recently done a big masterclass on it as well. We do it all the time because, I was a huge example of it because I had 8 years and a million had business on my shoulders. But every small situation, who are you? Who am I? What do I believe? What skills do I have? Where do I want to live? And what's my overall purpose? Not to do with the business, just with me. And, we all say, can you do the elevator pitch on your business? But can you actually do the elevator pitch on yourself? And that is a big challenge because it's at the core of everything you do, whether you're parent, your friend, a volunteer that we've come with books. The essence of every one of those roles begins with you. And if you don't know who you are, then by the time you try and project yourself into all these wonderful plates of life that you have, how are you projecting yourself? It's like, are you a sort of the flowery plate here, the checkered plate here, but you need to be you in all of those plates. And that step alone, I will guarantee, will solve 80% of ones. Because once you're clear about yourself, you can understand where your to-do list, the bits you don't like, come from. That's just not really the cause. It's hard to correct and put energy into stuff, but it's true. And there's this beautiful question we asked on our masterclass, and we kind of, me and Hen was saying, wait, how does it feel to be you as the founder right now? So we put up 5 answers, and they're frustrated, questioning, excited, motivated, overwhelmed, uncertain, and also just thriving, wanting to get forward. And obviously the most popular answer is overwhelmed. It's the standard reply of any entrepreneur. We say what factors cause that, and then we give them a list. Market conditions, competition, worry about money, overwhelmed, FOMO, whatever. And everybody answers something, but actually it doesn't matter what you feel. It's always originated by one thing, and that's a misalignment with yourself. It's misaligning with something, and it's the starting point. And a lot of people haven't defined it. They can do the organizational purpose of their business and everything like this, but who are you? And it's the most powerful tool you've got when you put your business, I suppose.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, that's very deep, and it's very fundamental. This question that you asked right now is something that I keep on asking myself so over and over and over again for years. Like, who am I? Even when I know I think I know the answer, sometimes I find myself doubting myself because I do. Yeah, because you don't really know what have I become? What am I doing? Then I ask myself again, who am I?
Can I give you a top tip?
Yes, please.
If you the best way to start on the color, you can get this stuff from always up, but the best way to start is to just gently map out your life that's been. You know, do adolescent, teenager, or how would you define it, young adult now. And you can start to look at some of these really big milestones and how it felt, the highs and the lows. Because when you're feeling your absolute passion and highs and lows of life is often where your either values and what you really believe are being challenged, or when, you know, that there's moments where you just think, the universe is on my side and I'm just fine. That's brilliant, because that's when you're living those moments of your true values and self. And you can start to note down, what was it feeling, emotion, values, just that, just as a starting point, to sort of gather a bit of a feeling of, you know, what those values are. Everyone always says to me, well, I have all the values. And I go, yeah, you all have all the values, but there'll be the top 4 that you will make your decisions by naturally, subconsciously. You know, those 4 will guide you with the direction. So if trust isn't there, it doesn't mean you're really untrustworthy, or you know, it just means that the 4 at the top are those that guide you.
I have to really find out what my core values are, or try to remind myself. And is it true that these values change from time to time? Because I was in the training one time, and the trainer was telling us, the teacher was telling us that your values could change from time to time depending on where you are and what you're going through, or the stage in life that you are in at the moment.
I mean, there's many definitions of the values of in the way that we think and the way that we live. But I like to think that the core values are learnt in our lives. That's why I say to grit through adolescence. So yes, if you are a teenager coming through, you're discovering them. And it may be that you see it or you define it as, let's say, trust is a big value of yours when you're looking at your teenage life. But maybe as you grow, actually, I'm not sure that it is trust, because I think there's something higher than trust that's important to me. So it's also always saying, you know, values are like going to the gym. They need exercising. You can't write them on a piece of paper and just look at them occasionally. It's good to reflect, how am I living them? Are they still those true things to myself, especially if you're young and your audience is? It's good to reevaluate them. I don't think the essence of your value will change, but maybe how you define it will, just through the experiences and how you begin to understand yourself more going through it. But you all have values in them. But I think there's many different ways of looking at it. I like to look at the top 4 and look at how they move, because ultimately, how you make decisions by, it's not all of them. You've got, as I say, you've got more. It's just the top 4 rungs of a big ladder. They're all fabulous, you know. But what's the top 4 rungs?
Yeah, the top 4 runs. Yeah, thanks for that tip. I'm going to make use of it. I can imagine me identifying my top 4 values and aligning myself to that. Is that enough for me to start the growth from within me out to my business?
You know, I started off with a story that I was in my business. And, you know, as I say to many of the entrepreneurs I work with, the space between you and your business is your power. Particularly in your business, it's very difficult to assess it and look at it. And that's why we get them very much to define themselves. And if you look at like what you believe, how you see yourself, what your skills are. And then I asked them the question, so how do you live your life on a daily basis within your business? And most people live it in skills. Entrepreneurs love doing lists, doing lists. But you've got this incredible part of you that is above what you believe, what your identity is, how you want to be seen, and your overall cause and purpose that you're doing it for. So we try and work on the whole grid. And by doing that, we extract the entrepreneur from their business. This is who you are. And then we say, well, the essence of you and your business. That's yours. That's the sort of umbilical cord that goes between. How would you use those values as you're projecting into your company? How do you use those values to position your company in the way that you do things there? So, for example, one of mine is, I'm a strong believer that everyone's story should be heard. I've always had that. It's an inclusion thing. And of course, when I look at Wise Minds, it's not there as a value going, everybody should be heard. However, there's a very strong value of keeping great ideas alive. And that's written there. That's the essence of mine to be heard, because I want women who want to grow their business to keep their story or their idea alive. So that's how you translate it. It's not an essence of me. It's something very important, but it's not me in it.
Yeah.
And that space is the power that allows you to look upon and to look less automatically as you translate your passion into something that other people can follow. People don't follow people. Well, the instrument fellows, that's what people follow great ideas. And that's the role of the founder, is to inspire through the company so people want to join that and take that vision forward. But to do that, that space has to be it, because nobody wants to come and work for somebody who's going to gain with them to feel and be like this. Nobody, the up and down of your entrepreneurial emotional state. So you have to translate yourself into your business. And, you know, I've done that, you know, with originally the company I was talking about. But as I said, I come from an entrepreneurial family, and I've watched my parents do it, and they were good at it. You know, they put themselves into this incredible partnership, and they knew that partnership was ever stronger than keeping wealth. So they knew by giving the front end of the business to new key partners that it would succeed, because money is an outcome of being aligned with what you believe in every area of your business.
Yeah.
And that's so important, is sometimes you have to let go to have the impact that you want, and partnership, and, you know, that was the way that they did it, and they did it well.
Yeah. I mean, that's very, very brilliant. And you've also tackled it, or shared the advantage of that power, that space between you and your business. Because for me, and from people I've spoken with before, they see their business or their entrepreneurial endeavors as a baby, like their child, and they don't want to let go of it. You don't put it in the hand of a stranger, basically.
But then I do laugh. They always say, going, yeah, but with that business I was talking about,
Yeah.
I was still holding a teenage child like an infant, and it was trying to get away from me, kicking very hard.
Yeah, imagine only a 25-year-old boy in your hands are like, you're my
That's
baby.
right.
You're going to
Oh, yes.
yeah. So
Yes.
we have to learn to let go and let it walk. Let the child walk. Let the child.
That's right. You know, there's still a lot of power, but instead we're brought up by the village. And I think definitely with a lot of the entrepreneurs that, you know, I've got with, they had this incredible idea, and it started to, you know, grow traction, to gain energy and be successful. And, you know, one of the things is letting go, but I do sometimes question the entrepreneur, is the fear of letting go the fact that you may grow more. And I know that sounds like, well, why don't you do business? But the relationship, and we also run a bit the course on this, which is, what is your relationship with success and money? And what is growth to you? And you should only grow on your path, but you also want to grow to ensure that your business model is resilient to last.
Yeah.
There's this fine line. And some of the questions about money and success, especially from a woman's point of view, am I there for my kids? Am I there for my friends? Am I living this broad life? And quite often our subconscious will take away how we've been brought up in our lives.
Yeah.
My mother didn't read for she walked past, so there's a lot to unravel there.
Mm.
It's not always the fear of failure that stops growth. Quite often, you could debate it's the fear of success. So there's a lot to unbundle there as well.
That is a lot. I can imagine putting right now like growth, success, and money on the table. Would you say they are all kind of related to each other, or there's one I should actually pick that will make the others also follow me?
Very good question. I would say that money is the whole thing. I did this little experiment and with a couple of the entrepreneurs, and we were talking about growth. And one of the entrepreneurs had been offered an investment for 100,000, and she said no. I said, all right. I said, well, let's start there. Well, why did you say no? And she said, well, I didn't really know what to spend it on. And it was quite an interesting response because, of course, she didn't mean to literally have that. It's just, it takes you up into a new bracket. So I said, there's so many questions. Let's just hold the 100,000 from here and let's break that down. If I gave you 5,000, so if I loaned her 5,000, she could have 5,000 for a month and then see where she would put it. So I did a little tiny micro loan. And interestingly, just having a smaller amount and then able to her to see where the 100,000 would go. I noticed how very, very strange with that small. She said, all right, so now, obviously women are very good spenders, very careful spenders. So she actually worked out who she would need to release herself. Oh, she did my balls. So she was over there. And then she took that 5,000 to put those on for people for 2 months to enable her to go there. And she came back to me. She said, now I know I spent 100,000 on. And it was just like, what you've gone out for one crevasse. So that's what we do. So, let's give people that confidence going, successes like this. We read so many headlines. I made 75 million when I closed my eyes last night and woke up and it was there. It's overwhelming. So first of all, what's growth to you? It's a test. You don't have to do it all in one go. But keep growing, keep testing, step by step. Get rid of the things you shouldn't be doing as your first step to feel the freedom again, to feel that growth. Climb over that first crevasse, then I never stood down. Up it. Mm-hmm. And then suddenly you've released this invisible barrier of growth, and suddenly you've got exactly where I'm going. Budgets was there, everything. You know the answers. It's something that's keeping us safe. So if we can sort of test on such a pocket money investment thing, you actually find that the 100,000 look up.
Before you know it's 1 million, 2 million.
Yeah, that's true. Well, not just 10 million. Yeah. I think people think, that they realize that, when it's just yourself, you can slog and go wherever you want. And even if you've got suppliers, with you, you can slog and go and no one knows. And one of the entrepreneurs said to me, she said, she'd take on a partner and she'd take on a small investment, 50,000 investment. She said, oh, now my dreams and wishes must come true. And there was this beautiful 6 months where she, we were like this. And then suddenly she's like, no, and now I need to share what I was thinking, my dreams, my wishes with anybody, And I thought that was so beautiful. Can you take it in reality into that next step? These are really important questions to ask yourself. Where do you want? What's growth to you? And it doesn't have to be done overnight, step by step. Just trial it.
From my understanding right now, is like there's a lot of inner work to be done. Like you have to know what growth means to you. You actually have to know. Actually, starts with you have to know who you are, and and then define all of these other factors. What is growth to you? Where do you want to head your business towards? And what's your purpose? Or
Yeah.
what's the essence of doing everything that you're doing? And that's why I when I was reading through your website, I found that very, very important. And even before we end this conversation, I would like you to talk about your services a little bit so that people that are interested can also subscribe to it or take part of it. So when I was going to your website, I found out that you are so focused on purpose-led growth. And I'm like, wow, this is very deep because I know of growth, I know of purpose, but I don't think I've really ever caused on having a purpose-led growth. So I would like to know on this.
Absolutely. And this really is the fundamental thing of how we grow. And I started at the beginning by talking about the entrepreneur and defining their purpose and the essence of them into their company. Because one of the things in a very, very busy world is where do you position yourself? And it's so important that that comes from the entrepreneur, that unique positioning. So how do you do that? Well, a lot of people start off with a passion and they want to change the world for good, for better. Not even singles, they just want to make people's lives better. But the challenge is that if you try to translate the essence of ourselves into our business, ultimately, as you're going faster and faster in that period of time of, survival and gaining traction, you lose the essence of why you were doing it in the first place, that vision of change, because you start taking loads of different customers and everything's like this. And ultimately, then you become just the same as everybody else. And so what we do is very much look at it, founder, organizational purpose, vision, values, establish that. And then from that, ask yourself, who am I doing it for? Who am I doing it with? Ensuring that golden thread passes through from top to bottom. But we created during lockdown because we were all looking for things to do, and I woke to being I'm not going to sit and watch Netflix. I linked up with a few people that I knew, and I said, "Do you want to work on a project?" I had no idea, of course. I'm determined that there's a measure to purpose-led growth. I believe in it so much, where you keep the essence of everything embedded in what you do to the people. And so we worked on that project and came up with a measure, and we measure it very simply with the Powerball, 4 key drivers: the alignment of purpose, customer, the way you do business, and who you do it with, and the way you connect. And just by these 16 questions, you get an idea of how aligned you are. Now, that alignment is critical when you are moving growth, because then you're using the full power of everybody, every customer, the way that you work. It's a very efficient way of growing. But also, it's a resilient way, because your vision of change is always there, customer-led. Because we often kind of kid ourselves, oh yes, we're doing it. This is a way of seeing that you're still aligned with the customer. And that's very important. Not championing it, not saying, oh, we are kind of, it measures it. And that's very important for the business, for resilience, but also helps you stay agile and make that change. And that's very, very important, is purpose-led growth is making your vision of change come true every day, delivered every day to every customer. And when the customer moves, you're already one step ahead of them. That's what we believe. And just that most important thing, the founder loves it now, tomorrow, and in the future, because it's always got the essence of them. Doesn't mean you have to stay, but it means that you're unique. And that's so important as a founder. You need to feel that you're making that difference.
Yeah, you need to feel that you're making a difference, and you need to feel unique, and you need to feel that what you're doing is actually giving out value to the world. Yeah.
Without a doubt. And that is number one reason. Because as a founder, you're often sat, as you sat here on your own, come in, you're sat there, and you've only got yourself. and it's been a hard day. And if you haven't got that connection with your business, that fulfillment and that belief, then that is a super hard thing to spring out of bed tomorrow for. So
True.
you've really got it. And quite often, as a top tip for anyone, if you're frustrated, ask yourself the question. You can whiz on the website and just have a look, and it's free. There's no obligation. It's growth valuation about what your alignment is for the Powerball, because I guarantee that your frustration will come because something's misaligned between you and your business. And when it's misaligned, you end up over-engineering, doing more and more things. But actually, the problem sits up there with misalignment of values.
And once you've been able to align yourself to your values, hopefully you've been able to identify your values by this point, and you're already aligned to them, and you're able to solve that problem.
Mm.
Is there a need also to align everyone that is working with you, your partners, to these values also? Do they have to be aligned to the values? So,
Well, we've all got different values. We've all got a top 4 roles that are different. And, you know, the most important thing is that we stay individuals, and your founder self is translating those values into the company, so that, let's say you have 5 people, you're looking in towards the business as 5 individuals, but the values of the company is how you work and live, and that's how you connect to it, which is why some people suit working for some companies and not others. You know, the values of a company, the way that they work and what they believe, doesn't suit everybody. And that's very, very important. And normally companies will formulate sort of the charter, the guidelines of how a team works, etc. But the values, the organizational values of your company are the way that you want to present your product, the thing that makes you different. But it's the same for all areas of life, all roles we have. You know, how am I as a mother? How am I as a godmother? You know, am I putting my values in the essence of my godson? Am I living that best life and being the best for him, being myself, or the roles as a parent, or the roles as a friend? You know, you want to be, that's your identity. It doesn't really have to be a company, but I'm going sort of teaching, coaching, and living that life with him. And yes, one of my values is adventurous in everything we do. And yeah, I tend to think I do that with him wherever we get that opportunity. So it's all areas of life, and how we integrate and how we seek to understand others. You know, when you have like, that was weird. It's never the thing. It's just something up here that just didn't come together right.
oh yeah. That means whenever we have some relapse, for example, or fallout, we have to always think about, oh, where am I not aligned at the moment?
That's right. That's a big one for business. I've had quite a few with suppliers. I think it's a small business, and you're experimenting quite a lot in the early days. And it's not that the supplier is bad, or I am. It's just that when we were trying to work together, there was just an identity values clash. And we kept solving the way that we were trying to work together. But ultimately, we were just too far apart on what we believed. So, you know, it's just polite. You can leave then with dignity, because it's no one's fault. You can just say, you know, door breaks, one way. The departure is better than this. You know what I mean? And you can they often call the Powerball the blame ball, so just internally, because rather than saying it's your fault, it ain't my fault, you can say, let's look at the Powerball together and look at where we're misaligned. Where are we getting this conflict from? Why is it not inflated as it should? Why is it deflated in the area? And you could have a conversation about something in third party, because it's not starting like it's my fault or your fault, because it's never one person's fault.
Exactly. It's never one person's fault. I think from what I've been learning also in my life, everyone has like a little bit of fault in it in the game. And like you said, I like what you said actually. You're great, I'm great, or together
Sounds like we're splitting up here, Tony. You're great, I'm great.
I don't see us going further than this. Yeah.
So true. That it is. Yeah. It's just values. It's just the way that we see life. It's just, sometimes you can adapt and just say, "Oh, this." Sometimes it's just too much.
That's true. So now I want to assume, yes, now we now have values. Everyone working with us is aligned, or in one way, with that value, working with that value too, and I'm aligned to my value. So, and we're having like growth opportunities. How can we? What do we need to do in order to support this growth opportunity? That I mean, so we can continuously grow, and it will be yesterday we were very good, but today mm, no more growth
Yeah, for our companies or for ourselves or both.
for both.
Yeah, for both.
For both.
Well, I love the ones for ourselves because I'm a big example about the gym, and your values. This time of reflection, whether we write it in a diary or we just think at the beginning of the day, is how have I lived my values today or this week? And it's such an important thing to do, especially if you are a lot of the time working on your own. It's so important that you recognize yourself, because when you're entrepreneurs on the roller coaster, there's a massive amount of and you kind of go, okay, where's the fun free fall of growth? So you have to have a way of celebrating. It's not sales, it's not new customers, and actually this beautiful element of how have I lived my best values today, and whatever I've done, very, very important. And that always keeps you separate. That's why we do it first. It keeps that distance coming forward. And then for our business, the uniqueness is how you make decisions and who you're aligned with. Very, very important. And if you can get all of those aligned, your customer, the way that you work, and so if you're the customer, the purpose, the way you work in your team,
Yeah.
the growth will happen because you've got more time, you're lighter, you're freer, and you're not carrying things that don't matter because they naturally stretch, because you're taking decisions based on what matters most to the company through the values, rather than emotionally taking decisions. And actually, on my website, you can download a free book. It's called Why Purpose Matters, and what you celebrate is more important than you think. Because, with that very clear picture, that clarity will automatically make decision making much easier. And you can spread as well, because everyone knows how to make a decision, because it's based on values and what your clear path is. And you notice that comes forward really, really clear. And then you have space. You created the space, you've unhealthy, this is what marries the growth. Hey, there's an opportunity. There's an opportunity. They've always been there. It's just that you've got room to see it. And that's business growth. You've got to let go to make more room for other things.
Yeah.
And that's very important. Go to others that you trust. That's why delegate doesn't work. The word. Ultimately, the action does, but you need to do a lot of work before that.
Yes. I really love that. Thank you so much, Julie. I've learned so much from you from this conversation. And I know there's a lot more I could learn from you about business, about growth. But one thing that I would like to ask you, because it's your area of specialization, before we ask about your website and your services, is also, I know you work a lot with women. And I'd like to know from your experience, like what challenges do women face particularly when it comes to their business?
Yeah, it's a very good one. And I think some of the challenges that I see right away is the one where we're putting ourselves in the way of growth. And that can be either because we haven't defined what growth means to us, we're fearful of success, it can be, or we are running our business, nurturing like our family, which means that it's very hard to let go of a past wave to stand onto a new one. So, these good old days, good old Frida, she's there. And it's very important to let go. You can only let go when you go back to the beginning not literally, just psychologically, and look back up and go, okay, last time I stood at base camp, I was super excited. I wanted to do that. I gathered people, they came with me. And you have to revisit and make that path clearer for that second phase. It's not one time it's done. You need to come back down. Each wave of growth requires something different from the founder. And holding on prevents that happening. That's a big challenge, for sure. So the theory of success. And once we did that clarity and taste it a little bit, it does help. We've got other responsibilities that we really look at. And I think sometimes it's good to have a conversation about that and to be open about it and be okay with it. That your fears are, will I be there for my family? Will I be there for my friends? How will society see me? I think it's very important to have those open conversations.
Yeah, and you're the best person to have that conversation with.
I love that conversation. I think you probably realize that.
And that's why I would like you to tell us about Wise Minds and the other services that you offer out there.
Yeah. So I started with Wise Minds for the fact that I did the journey. And I started during COVID, but now I'm putting it all online. So you can run the program, things I've talked about at your own time, because I wanted to make growth accessible for all women. So that's one of my purposes in it. You can also download stuff free. You can go onto the website and look at the growth evaluation where you can measure your marble. I mean, have a go and challenge yourself. It's a lot of fun. Even if you don't want to do it, say, how aligned am I in my business? And it's a lot of fun. You can even do it for a career thing. So if you look at your team as your business, you can fill it out there and see how aligned you are with your team in your business. It's all about alignment. So you can find us on wiseminds.com. That's wise with a Y, WYSE, minds.com. And or LinkedIn, we're there. But the website's got everything on it. You can find stuff there. A lot of free downloads, lots of stories. Women love stories. I love sharing stories. And also, I always say to founders, do you want to share yours? It's like, yes, I do. No one holds back.
Yeah. I mean, I really love stories too because they can be very inspiring sometimes. Yeah. Yes. And just a question out of curiosity. Yes, you're wise with a Y. Does it have a reason?
There is a story.
Okay.
I thought occasionally you've got to do something that really challenges your learning. And mine was to learn how to do copywriting, my website. Now, one, I don't talk short. Two, I certainly don't write short. So it was a really big challenge. So I ended up in this small class and I was the oldest by about 20 years. Everyone else was about sort of 22, 23. And we were talking about our companies. And I said, what's the name of the company? And I said, it's Wise Minds. And one of the young guys said, that makes you sound old, like an owl. He said, why don't you change the I to a Y? And I went, good idea. That's a good story. That's why it's there.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw the name. I was like, oh, okay, there must be something behind this.
There was. And we too. And actually, it's so beautiful because he was very right. Because, the wise in Wise Minds isn't about us. It's about the collective of how we work. And I didn't want them to see us like the owls where we know everything and stuff like that, because it doesn't work like that. So actually, it was a very good catch.
Yeah, it is. It is a good catch, yeah. And for me, when I saw the why, I was like, maybe that stands for your why. Like, what is your why? What's your reason?
Oh, yeah. Good. That's purpose. Another good story.
Yeah.
I use that.
Yeah, just give me some credit when you use it in this podcast. Well, Julie, I really appreciate this conversation. I'm so grateful that we're able to talk about this. What's the best way, apart from your website, to connect with you? If people have like further questions to ask or they want to work closely with you, what's the best way to do this?
But to get hold of me, sorry.
Yes.
Yeah. I think on Wise Minds they can you can message straight off that for free. So you can just say, so if you want to contact, you can join here, you can sign up to the newsletter, or you can email me at julie.wiseminds.com. And it's all the information's there. And I would love to hear from people. Also, you can just sign up for a virtual coffee as well. Because sometimes some of the little questions that you've got, it can be very easily answered when you just share a coffee with someone. That's the point. People all think it's like 6 hours, but it's not. sometimes it's like, this is the point. I said, have you tried that, or is that thing?
Yeah.
It'd
Game
be so
changer.
class as simple as that.
Awesome. So all of this information is available on your website. I encourage everyone who has listened so far to click on the website. It's in the show notes of this episode. Click on it, copy it, and reach out to Julie. And if you don't want to even reach out, just use the free resources on the website. They are more than enough to help you with your growth. Thank you so much. It has been so wonderful speaking with you. I really appreciate this.
Thank you, Toby. It's been brilliant.